Hi, I'm Shayna.
Hi, I'm Shira, and we're from How to ABA and the Behavior resource.
We're going to talk about defining problem behavior today.
Yeah, so this is for when you are writing a treatment protocol or even collecting data, as simple as ABC data. You want to know what you're collecting the data on, what that behavior looks like, what it does not look like, when it's counted as a new incident of behavior, so that it's clear for the person recording the data. It could be a parent, it could be a caregiver, a teacher, but you want to be as clear as you can in defining the behavior so that you can get accurate data and then treat it accordingly.
So, can I just say aggression in my problem behavior treatment plan? Why?
That's a little too broad because what looks like aggression for one person might look totally different for another person. One person's mode of aggression might be hitting, another person's aggression could be kicking, and those are treated differently.
What if it's all of the above?
Then you say it is hitting, kicking, spitting. Basically, you want to list what those behaviors look like, what the aggressive behaviors are.
And, sometimes we have to say, with a closed fist or an open fist. Shira and I have been in lots of team meetings where we seriously have a behavior discussion plan for a good 10 minutes with the entire team. And we're acting it out. So if he touches your face, is that considered aggression? Or does it have to be a full-on, let me wind my arm back and hit? And we've actually written that into behavior plans, especially with teams that have a larger amount of individuals on them, because if you've got one person on a team or you've got two people on a team and Shira and I are the only ones working with the kid and I say aggression, that means hitting. Shira goes, oh, I totally know what you mean when he does this, right? Yeah, got it. But when you're talking about a team of 10 people, or you're talking about working with teachers, and you're working with a speech pathologist, and you're working with the ABA consultant and the behavior person who's new, you need to really say, listen, a hit is demonstrated, when he pulls back his arm to a certain extent, or open hand, or it needs to be with this amount of force, or it needs to be, one hit only. Every hit is counted as a separate incident. Or if you've got a kid, I'm sorry, Sharon, I'm not going to really hit you, but if a kid goes slap, 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 is that 10 slaps or is that one slap? And, oftentimes we'll count that as quote unquote one episode. And it's okay to do that. And it's okay to say, one quote unquote episode is defined as, a series of slaps, but there has to be X amount of time in between. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever you guys decide as a team. There's no right or wrong answer in terms of what that is.
Right. It just has to be consistent. And something that we find to be helpful when writing up some of these behavioral definitions is that sometimes there is like almost low level of like aggression or behavior, and that's not as serious. And does that really count? Like, do we count if they just, do it like a slight poke, or if they do a gentle slap? Or are we counting like the higher level episodes of aggression? So sometimes we'll collect data on both, and we'll define what that lower level of behavior or aggression looks like and count that separately, so that we have more accurate data showing us like what kind of aggression was it? Was it, this type of level 2 aggression where they needed a more severe intervention, or was it just them, starting to get a little bit worked up or showing those precursor signs of aggression or a behavior? So that's okay. You can collect two different types of data on the same behavior as well, as long as you're clear and consistent and the team knows the definitions of each of those behaviors. And also to include the amount of time, like Shayna said, it has to last for a certain amount of time, or it has to be separated by 5 minutes of no aggression to be counted as a new episode. Those are important things to include in your definition, is the intervals and the timing, and when it's counted as a new episode or when it's not.
And sometimes I'll also count, or define what it's not. Right. So, aggression is defined as, a very forceful hit. It is not when he taps you on the shoulder. It is not when he does X or Y or Z. It's only when he does this. And that's okay to include too. And actually that's quite helpful for a lot of individuals. So yeah, absolutely. Break it down as much as you possibly can so that everybody on the team really understands. And sometimes what Shira and I do right before we publish the operational definition to the team is we'll get a novel person to read it, without a name on it. I might even get my husband to read it and say, listen, like, does this make sense to you? What are you envisioning in your head when you read this definition, to make sure that everybody is on the same page?